Hello, Afro Ronin, reacting to Lowkey, Neoliberalism Kills People. On Grime Daily, this is not a market substitute. Go support Grime Daily, go support Lowkey. Let's jump right in.
The American civil rights activist and philosopher Cornel West says justice is what love looks like in public. And so what I wrote is that neoliberalism is actually what lovelessness looks like in public. And that now, after 4 decades of these policies, but the reason why I say the book came out on June 12th is that just 1 week later was the Grenfell Tower fire. And, you know, I feel like this catastrophe, right, this crime really, in so many ways, is the ultimate symbol of that lovelessness as policy, of that neglect, of that systematic neglect and systematic discrimination.
So all I know about the Grenfell Tower is that a building somewhere in the UK, in England, burned down. Apparently, it had to do with the people who owned the building not taking good care of it. Not the renters, but the people who rent it out to the renters.
The ultimate symbol of that lovelessness as policy, of that neglect, of that systematic neglect and systematic discrimination, but also of that hollowness that you're asking about, right? Because of this extraordinary cruelty of this investment in an image, like the investment in the aesthetic, and in such sharp contrast to the divestment of the inside, of the interior, right?
How can I do a fire in the booth when I'm trying just to maintain? And since June don't hear the word fire in the same way, heard screams, splutters and I'm gasping for air. That's not bars in a booth, it's so hard to compare. If I use fire as a metaphor, does that disrespect the people that are never more? How does that bomb sound to those that bled in war? That we never saw, remember when they settled scores with metal swords like Skeletor training?
Skeletor from He-Man. If you know, you know.
Or does that disrespect the people that are never more? How does that bomb sound to those that bled in war?
I like his analogy. I can't do a fire in the booth. Like he's saying, like how can he do a fire in the booth? As when there's when there was a fire in in the Grenfell Tower and everything. Yeah. And how does bomb sound to soldiers who've actually been to war and they're no longer there, but they can still hear it?
Bars in a booth, it's so hard to compare. If I use fire as a metaphor, does that disrespect the people that are never more? How does that bomb sound to those that bled in war? That we never saw, remember when they settled scores with metal swords like Skeletor. Chinese made gunpowder, Nobel invented dynamite. They say the guilt in his mind compelled him to design the prize. We know what Einstein...
Yeah, I heard that too. Like the guy who invented dynamite, he felt so guilty because he knew it was gonna. I think it was the same thing for the guy who helped develop the atomic bomb or whatever. Like he felt guilty. I think I saw a snippet of an interview where he was talking about the same thing.
Remember when they settled scores with metal swords like Skeletor. Chinese made gunpowder, Nobel invented dynamite. They say the guilt in his mind compelled him to design the prize. We know what Einstein's mind was like. How many geniuses we never knew that were deprived of life. I can't philosophize on horrifying flames. We don't have to apologize or qualify our pain. To Grenfellize our loved ones of the colonized.
So I'm assuming this Grenfell guy is the guy who the tower was named after, and he was like he was a colonizer. He went to other countries and brought slaves over, I'm assuming. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong.
How many geniuses we never knew that were deprived of life. I can't philosophize on horrifying flames. We don't have to apologize or qualify our pain. To Grenfellize our loved ones of the colonizer's name. Should we let the corporate media lobotomize our brains? You are beautiful. No matter how this life disfigures you, you're beautiful. Even if that image you emulate isn't you. I don't know if history is linear or cyclical, but no, I'm ridiculed for making invisibles visible. That's why Plato said banish poets from the Republic, because they know that we can shake the social system and disrupt.
I heard him say that line in his Fire in the Booth Part 2 about Plato saying that you should banish the poets because they can change things, they can change the political system with their words.
History is linear or cyclical, but no, I'm ridiculed for making invisibles visible. That's why Plato said banish poets from the Republic, because they know that we can shake the social system and disrupt it. The land of liberty, they tell us leave it or lump it. When Trump comes to the country, we hope he chokes on his crumpet before we sink in the ocean. Consider this as an omen. Nature's blessings are ours just because we think that we own them. Never think that you're broken or think that you know one. Remember, a rope is strong because of strings interwoven. Love dies.
That was powerful shit. That was powerful right there.
Shake the social system and disrupt it. The land of liberty, they tell us leave it or lump it. When Trump comes to the country, we hope he chokes on his crumpet before we sink in the ocean. Consider this as an omen. Nature's blessings are ours just because we think that we own them. Never think that you're broken or think that you know one. Remember, a rope is strong because of strings interwoven. Love dies.
I don't completely understand that part. So if somebody wants to explain it to me, I'd appreciate it. Never think you're no one.
Nature's blessings are ours just because we think that we own them. Never think that you're broken or think that you know one. Remember.
Never think that you're broken or think that you're no one. Remember, a rope is strong because of strings interwoven. I know it's deep shit, but I don't completely understand it. Like, is he saying we're all in this together? Kind of, is that what he's saying? Like, don't feel alone because everybody else is going through it as well, whatever you're feeling.
But a rope is strong because of strings interwoven. Love dies. When love dies. When love dies. So little road. When love dies. When love dies. When love dies. So little road. Would they love you more if you know the people that you're from? Self-orientalize and believe that you belong. Overcompensate and propagate the image of the imbecile, the uninvolved, even though you're further from the killing field. Solace in the fact there's always cracks in the monolith, practically lobbing bricks like Asterix and Obelix.
One thing I love about him, but I also like you just feel dumb listening to him because I also don't like it because you just feel so dumb because his vocabulary is out of this world, man. It is completely out of this world. Like how it never. Who comes up with the idea of using obelisk and asterisk in a sentence? You know, just in a normal rap. I don't know what an obelisk or an asterisk is, but I have heard those words before.
Gave the image of the imbecile.
So he's saying, well, do you think they'll love you more if you try to change your culture and try to look more like them, try to be more like, I'm gonna say, he's saying if you pretend to be more to the like white people's culture, if you're of a different race and you try to be more of white people's culture, do you think they're gonna love you more? Do you think they're gonna, if you push your culture to the side, do you think they'll love you more?
Uninvolved, even though you're further from the killing field. Solace in the fact there's always cracks in the monolith, practically lobbing bricks like Asterix and Obelix. Distracted with gossip is twisted news and interludes, adverse no hidden clues to listen to is pitiful. Rosa Luxemburg gave us the simple truth. You won't feel your chains till the day you begin to move. They photographed the corpse and they flung him in the cage. Those are signed off on the clad and are still
He said he photographed a corpse and they flung him in a cage. Is he like somebody dead at the Grenfell Tower? Is that what he's saying? Like this guy took a picture of somebody dead at the Grenfell Tower and they threw him in a cage? Let me know.
Rosa Luxemburg gave us the simple truth. You won't feel your chains till the day you begin to move. They photographed the corpse and they flung him in the cage. Those are signed off on the clad and are still receiving their wage. Helicopters hover close, pictures of the front page. Tried to speak, all I really felt deep was numb rage. How could they see this pain at such a young age? Leaning out the window screaming for help, but none came. If it gains, it leads. The trauma tourists, they gravitate. Shock doctrine in effect, disaster capitalists salivate. Privatization, deregulation and austerity. 0-hour contracts, exploitation and precarity. Adults didn't make it, children to be. Save pennies on the block, drop 20 million on the opera. We see through your cold plans, your program is done. We don't want a prime minister that holds hands with Trump. We don't want DJs doing shows on military compounds, contrivialized fire, or any more bombs.
He's calling out Tim Westwood. that sounded like a shot at Tim Westwood. You can't trivialize fire or hear any more bomb sounds.
Still receiving their wage. Helicopters hover close, pictures of the front page. Tried to speak, all I really felt deep was numb rage. How could they see this pain at such a young age? Leaning out the window screaming for help, but none came. If it gains, it leads. The trauma tourists, they gravitate. Shock doctrine in effect, disaster capitalists salivate. Privatization,
Wait.
clad and are still receiving their wage. Helicopters hover close, pictures of the front page. Tried to speak, all I really felt deep was numb rage. How could they see this pain at such a young age? Leaning out the window screaming for help, but none came. If it gains, it leads.
If it bleeds, it leads. Trauma tourists, they gravitate. So, like people who attract, or those people who make those posts, like people who make posts on days that tragedies happened, just to get some likes. Basically, I think that's what those are the people he's talking about. I'm assuming. If it bleeds, it leads. Trauma tourists, they gravitate to trauma for a couple of likes and retweets.
Tourists, they gravitate. Shock doctrine in effect, disaster capitalists salivate. Privatization, deregulation and austerity. 0-hour contracts, exploitation and precarity. Adults didn't make it, children to be. Save pennies on the block, drop 20 million on the opera. We see through your cold plans, your program is done. We don't want a prime minister that holds hands with Trump. We don't want DJs doing shows on military compounds, contrivialized fire, or any more bomb sounds. I cannot smile when I know the remains are still not found, and echoing in my mind is exact.
Some people's remains still have not been found. Like they haven't, like they were just buried when did the tower completely come down? I thought it was a fire, right? So let me know in the comments.
We don't want DJs doing shows on military compounds, contrivialized fire, or any more bomb sounds. I cannot smile when I know the remains are still not found, and echoing in my mind is exactly how the sobs sound.
Love dies. When love dies. When love dies. So we only roll. When love dies. When love dies. When love dies.
They say we're criminals for syllables and stanzas when they subsidize the killers, tools, the pillagers and bankers who are the engines of history. People like me and you who got massacred for the right to vote. And Peter Louis was Imagineers, the poets and the artists, the miners, told part of martyrs, William Coffee and the chartists rebel and resist, even through something small. Create windows with words and mirrors where once were walls. Manure contributes to the beauty of a rose. What can't we accept our pain?
I think I heard him say that in his Fire in the Booth too. Something about manure contributing to the beauty of a rose.
The chartists rebel and resist, even through something small. Create windows with words and mirrors where once were walls. Manure contributes to the beauty of a rose. Why can't we accept our pain as something that helps us grow? They wonder why songs that make you cry are more moving, cause crying's the only thing that we were born doing. They tell us tea is tradition to the English. When I look around this island, not a tea plantation in it.
He said that too in the Fire in the Booth too. It still hits hard. I'm not over there, but man, that still hits hard. When you think deep on it.
Songs that make you cry are more moving, cause crying's the only thing that we were born doing. They tell us tea is tradition to the English. When I look around this island, not a tea plantation in it. Earl Grey gave 20 million to the slave traders. Multipolar world, now the Indians are space raiders. Freedom to be even or merely alienate labor. Freedom for fossil fuels to desecrate and invade nature. Albert was an immigrant, Philip was an immigrant. We're the Celts, Normans and the raiders. Freedom to be even or merely alienate labor. Freedom for fossil fuels to desecrate and invade nature. Albert was an immigrant, Philip was an immigrant. We're the Celts.
Who were the Celts, the Celts, who were the Celts, Normans, and the Anglo-Saxons? English then.
Normans and the Anglo-Saxons, English then. The words sugar, cotton and rice come from Arabic. Now we import democracy to civilize the Saracens. Analyzing planets when this backwater was wilderness. Seems we're still obsessed with mortality like Gilgamesh. Pessimism of intellect, optimism of will. Wear the skin of their victims, the syndrome Buffalo Bill. In times of permanent war, there's always someone to kill. But when life and death are virtual, almost nothing is real.
When love dies, when love dies, when love dies, so neoliberal. When love dies, when love dies, when love dies.
The truth will not be hidden. The People's Public Inquest, first-hand accounts, facts, testimonies, and statements. Grenfell Tower, fire June 14th to 15th, 2017. Take a look at what's called neoliberalism, what we've been subject to for the last 45 years. You look up the word in the dictionary, it sounds very nice. Market principles, everyone has a fair chance. You look at the practices of neoliberalism, bitter, unremitting class war, and it shows up in the outcomes.
People kills people, neoliberalism kills people. Real people, neoliberalism kills people, kills people. Neoliberalism kills people, kills people. Neoliberalism kills people. Real people, neoliberalism kills people, kills people. Neoliberalism kills people, kills people. Neoliberalism kills people, real people. Neoliberalism kills people, kills people.
That was dope, man. The guy, Lowkey is always informative. You know, like I always said, he needs to sleep some more because he is. The man was woke before woke, like I said. His mind just seems to be constantly racing, like he's miles ahead of everybody. His vocabulary, just wild. I don't even know how to rate, but he's always informative, and speaking real shit. So how can I not give it a 10, right? How can I not give real shit 10? So yeah, it's a 10 for me. Thank you for tuning in. This is not a market substitute. Go run that up for him, man. If you like it, go run it up. Go thumbs it up. Shout out to Graham Daily and to Lowkey. Thank you for tuning in.